Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 18, which is entitled as Sannyasa Yoga. Sloka 42, Part 2. Śamo damas tapaḥ śaucaṁ, kṣāntir ārjavam evaca, jñānaṁ vijñānam āstikyaṁ, brahma-karma svabhāva-jam. Control of the external senses, indriyas, control of the mind, bodily austerity as prescribed in the scriptures, cleanliness, patience and forbearance, straightforwardness, knowledge of the real nature of the matter and spirit, knowledge pertaining to the unique attributes of the Supreme Lord, conviction in the truth of what the Vedas speaks. All these constitute the natural duty of one in the class of brahmana, which is in accordance with his predispositions formed through actions of his earlier lives. This is what we learned in our previous session on the sloka, and we ended the session asking a question: who are astikas? What defines a person to be an astika? Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, in his commentary, he says, Astika is one who has firm faith in the truth presented in scriptures. And the truth is that the Supreme Lord Hari is to be understood by all the Vedas. He alone is the cause of everything. He is to be worshipped by actions prescribed by himself. He is to be satisfied by devotion, and a person should offer everything, including himself, to the Lord. Likewise, Swami Ramanuja, in his commentary on this verse, explains who is an astika. He says, Bhagavan Purushottama Vasudevaha Parabrahma Shabdabhidheyaha Nirasta Nikila Dosha Gandhaha Svabhāvika Anavadikādisaya Jñāna Shaktyādya Samyekya Kalyana Gunaganaha Nikila Veda Vedanta Vedyaha Sayeva Nikila Jagadeka Karanam Nikila Jagadādhārana Bhuta Nikilasya Sa Eva Pravartayita Tad Ārādana Bhutam Cha Krishnam Vaidikam Karma Tais Ārādito Dharmārtha Karma Mokṣākyaṁ Phalam Prayachati iti asyārtasya satyata nischaya āstikyaṁ. What he says is Bhagavan Purushottama Vasudevaha. That Bhagavan is Purushottama, who is Vasudeva. Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabhaha. As we already studied earlier, that it is Vasudeva who is the Supreme Lord, who is actual Bhagavan, who is Purushottama. We have spent a lot of time on this term Purushottama in the 15th chapter. Though there may be many gods that's mentioned in the Vedas, one who clearly knows the truth that it is Sri Krishna who is Paramatma, Purushottama, Vasudeva, Parabrahma, and not confused with the Trimurti's concept, that is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are equally gods, or considering one among them to be greater, or Shakti to be greater. It is Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, who is Purushottama, who is Vasudeva, who is Parabrahma. That is mentioned in all the scriptures. We also discussed this in the 15th chapter, 19th sloka, part 9. When the Veda says Brahman, it only refers to Sri Krishna, no one else. Nirasta Nikila Dosha Gandhaha. He has no trace of any faults. Some school of thoughts, they say the Brahman is covered by ajñāna, ignorance, and that is not true. Svabhāvika Anavadikādisaya Jñāna Satyādya Samkyeya Kalyana Gunagana. Not only that he is free of any faults. He is full of unlimited ocean of great and good auspicious qualities. Naturally, jnana, shakti, bhala, aishwarya, tejas, virya. He is the abode of all the auspicious qualities. Nikila Veda Vedanta Vedyaha. He is the one to be known by Shrutis and Smritis. Krishna also mentions this in Gita in 15th chapter. Vedesya sarvair aham eva vedyaha. It is only through Vedas we can know the Lord. It is only Lord whose glories, whose supremacy is mentioned in the Vedas. Nikila Jagadeka Karanam. He is the cause of everything. Creation, maintenance and destruction. He is Upadharana Karana, Nimitta Karana, Sahakari Karana. This is also we covered in the 15th chapter. And also in the 10th chapter, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavaha mattha sarvam pravartate. It is from me everything gets created and come into existence. And it is me who controls and everything functions under my order. Krishna is the only cause of all causes, one who does not have a cause for himself. Nikila Jagadadharana Bhutaha. He is the base, foundation for everything. Everything rests upon him. Mattha paratram na anyat kinchit asti dhananjayaha. We studied this in the 7th chapter. That everything rests upon him. There is nothing superior or equal to him. Nikilasya sa eva pravartayita. He is not only adhara, base, but also he is the one who executes things in this universe. Tadadhadarana bhutam cha krishnam vaidikam karma. Towards that Supreme Lord, each of this varna does their prescribed duties as worship unto him. As Krishna said in the 5th chapter, Bhaktaram yagyatapasam sarva loka makeshwaram sugridam sarva bhutanam jñātva mam śāntiṁ richati. I am the master of everything, for everything, yaga, tapas, etc. I am the one who being worshipped through all the different means. Yomāmajam anadim cha vetti loka maheshwaram. This is explained in the 10th chapter, where Krishna said, one who understands I am birthless, who has no beginning, and one who is the Maheshwara for the entire universe. He never comes back into this world, attaining the spiritual world. Meaning, he will be completely released from all the karmas. That person who understands these things is said to be āstikyaṁ. And brāhmaṇas, by nature, who have sattva guna, are supposed to have these understanding. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan quotes from Vishnu Smriti, Kṣāma, Satyam, Tamaḥ, śaucaṁ, Dānam, Indriya Samyamaḥ, Ahimsa, Guru Shushruṣa, Tirthānu Sharanam Daya, ārjavam, Lobha Shunyatvam, Deva Brahmana Pujanam, Anabhyasūyacha, Tata Dharma Samanya Uchate. Forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, cleanliness, charity, non-violence, service to Guru, visiting holy places, compassion, straightforwardness, freedom from greed, worship of devas and brahmanas, and freedom from envy are the general qualities of the brahmana. What it means is that it is that all these qualities may not be present in brahmana, but it means these are the qualities which are expected to be in a brahmana. That means brahmanas should really try hard to develop these qualities. One may say, shouldn't these qualities also be part of other varnas? Should it be only for brahmanas? Forgiving nature, being peaceful, having self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, compassion to other living entities, freedom from greed and envy, etc. Why only to brahmanas? Shouldn't these things be for Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras? Answer is yes. In fact, we can see some of these traces even in Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Sudras. But they are not prominent because of the gunas that present in them. The brahmanas are predominated by sattva guna, therefore these are prominent. These qualities are prominent or should be made prominent. It is brahmanas who has more of sattva guna. One who has sattva guna attains moksha easily. So those who are Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudras wants to attain moksha, liberation, should also develop sattva guna. Therefore, those who have sattva guna will easily develop these qualities. Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras and the brahmanas who develop sattva guna in their mind will have these qualities. In other words, easy for them to have these qualities. Like the examples that we saw in the past session, Prahlad, Vidura, Vibhishana and the hunter Mrihari. Then why these are only mentioned specifically for Brahmana? Because Brahmanas by default has Sattva Guna predominated. It is easy and possible for Brahmanas to obtain these qualities. Whereas for the other classes, it is dominated by Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Therefore, they have to work hard to get these qualities mentioned. It is said in Vishnu Purana that Varnashrama Acharyavata Purushena Parappuman Vishnur Aradyate Pantha Nanyat Tattosha Karanam. Lord Vishnu get pleased, satisfied when he is being worshipped by executing the principles of Varna Ashrama system. According to one's Varna and Ashrama, as they perform their prescribed principles mentioned in the scripture, the Lord becomes pleased with such people. And as it is said here in this sloka, that one can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, by proper discharge of the principles of Varna and Ashrama. There is no alternative to pacifying the Lord by execution of the principles of the Varnashrama system. To summarize, the Brahmana dharmas are control of the external senses, control of their mind, physical austerity as prescribed in the scriptures, purity as required for one to perform the Vedic rituals, maintaining composure even when hurt by others, being straightforward, having knowledge of matter and spirit, having detailed knowledge of the Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, having faith in the truth of the teachings of the Vedas. Before we conclude on this topic of Brahmanas, let's connect the dot of what we have covered so far. Brahmanyam is of two types, physical and mental. If a person is born as a Brahmana, that is, born to a Brahmana parents, his Brahmanyam is physical and constant, continues till his death. The duties ordained for this class will also continue to apply for him until his death. Whereas, if a person has a Sattva Guna dominated, Sattva Guna is dominated in that person who possesses Sama, Dhamma, āstikyaṁ, Bhakti, etc. that mentioned here to good extent. It is on the mental level, mind level. Such person who is not born to a Brahmana parents but do possess Sattva Guna and all the qualities that mentioned, then it is said to be mental Brahmanyam. And this can happen to any one of these four classes: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudras. A Brahmana by birth alone and is bereft of the mental Brahmanyam is considered as good as a Chandala. It is disgusting. In the case of a person who does not possess physical brahmanyam but is rich in mental brahmanyam, he deserves all the respect sanctioned by the scriptures. Undoubtedly, he is the best who has brahmanyam of both the types, physically and mentally. Nevertheless, each and every one who bestowed with love and devotion to Krishna, a Vaishnava, is of praiseworthy. This was exhibited and also mentioned by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Naham vipro nacha narapatir napi vaishyo na shudro naham varni na grahapatir na vanasto yatirva. I am not a brahmana, I am not a kshatriya, I am not a vaishya, I am not a shudra, nor am I a brahmachari, a householder, a vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. Well, how can one be without any of these things? We have been discussing about varnashrama system so far. Mahaprabhu answers what his position is. Gopi bhartuhu padakamalyo dasa dasanu dasaha. That I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. So the highest position that one can be in is this position, dasa dasanu dasaha, to be the servant of servant of servant of Krishna's devotees. So Vaishnavas stays above any of these classes, and such Vaishnavas are praiseworthy. In our next session, we'll learn about the duties of a Kshatriya. śamo damas tapaḥ śaucaṁ kṣāntir ārjavam evacha jñānaṁ vijñānam āstikyaṁ brahma-karma svabhāva-jam. Namaste. Hare Krishna.